So the first lesson I like to teach, if you follow along with your handout, is to give your child the gift of failure. It kind of sounds backwards, but give your child the gift of failure. And I was talking to a principal at a grade school, and she said, you know what, Collin, there used to be what was called helicopter parents. Then there was lawnmower parents that would just pave the way for their child. And she said, there's this third parent now, it's like even worse and worse. She calls it, there's wheelbarrow parents. They're just they're just going to take them everywhere. They're not letting them have the gift of learning and creativity and resourcefulness. And if you look at like people that hire companies, they say the most important skill right now in the workforce is two things. It's creativity and resourcefulness. Resourcefulness. So if we're fixing every problem for our child, that isn't going to help them. It's not developing grit. And if you look at what's the #1 predictor of success, there's a great book called Grit. It's the word grit. The #1 predictor, and who wrote that? With pop quiz. Dr. Angela Duckworth out of Penn. The #1 predictor of success is not IQ, it's not talent, it's not size, it's grit. And grit, by definition, is passion meets perseverance. Emphasize perseverance. So if everything's been easy for your child, it's not going to help them. They're not going to develop the skill sets to find solutions, to be creative, and to have that grit to get through something challenging. And I think of two things. One example I think of is if you help a baby chick out of the egg, what happens? What happens? Yes. So the chick needs, what's that? That's true, but if you help open the egg where they don't have to struggle and fight, they don't build that endurance, they don't build their lungs, they don't build that strength to endure that early stage of life. So they need that struggle to get better, to get grit. And I like to think of the other story is, if you like, anybody like basketball? If I say the name Kobe Bryant, we know that name, right? Kobe Bryant, one of the top scorers in the history of the NBA, just known as a fierce competitor, just relentless. They call him the Mamba. Like he's just ferocious. But his dad was drafted, played in the NBA. His dad then played in Europe for a long time. And when they moved back to the United States from Europe, Kobe Bryant was 11 years old, and he played in this basketball league that summer. And he said, I scored 0 points. Like I wanted to just prove myself to people back in my hometown of Philly. My dad grew up, prove to my dad. In the last game, I was like, I just wanted to score 1 point. He scored 0 points. And he felt so deflated, so defeated after that summer. And he said, my mindset shift changed in that moment. It all started that moment. Because I had my head down, I felt defeated. And he said, my dad put his arm around me, and he said, son, I don't care if you score 0 points or 60 points, I'm going to love you the exact same way. Just love you. And he said, right there, the Mamba mentality was created because I had no fear of failure. None. I had no fear of failure. Because it wasn't about, proving myself. It was about improving myself. It wasn't about how did I look, it was what did I learn. And one of his famous quotes is, I don't ever lose, I either win or I learn. So I'm not afraid to take the last shot. I'm not afraid to compete when the game's on the line. Sometimes our children, in that big moment, that big meet, like, we practice a lot, but then it comes time to compete, like the nerves start to... Every day is a day to learn and get better. Every day is an opportunity to grow and improve. And one of my favorite quotes that I've told myself as a speaker, as a podcast host, as a writer, whatever, is, I'm not defined by this. I'm not defined by this. You're not defined by your performance. But are you fully committed? Are you engaged? Are you serving your teammates? Are you going for it? And another story I love about on giving them the gift of failure, who knows, other than Oprah, who is the wealthiest female entrepreneur on the planet? Female entrepreneur. Aside from Oprah. Great guess. Sarah Blakely. Sarah Blakely. Yeah, Sarah Sarah Blakely found his Spanx. Keeping all this stuff nice and tight. Right here. Sarah Blakely. Sarah Blakely. So they asked Sarah, you're killing it. Like you're crushing it. Like you have an empire. How'd you do it? And she's like, well, I used to sell fax machines door to door for 7 years. I failed a ton. I heard no a lot. So I built that grit, that endurance, that fortitude. But really, my mindset and my, focus was implanted as a kid. She said that, you heard this story? She said that what was that?
It's an interesting 40-minute interview.
And I'll probably send this to you guys if you guys want it. She's like, my dad asked me and my brother a question every day after school. What do we ask our kids after school? How was school? How was your day? What did you learn? And she said, he asked us a different question after school. He asked us, did you fail today? Did you get uncomfortable today? Like, did you challenge yourself today? So she said that question flipped failure on his face. And it made me not be afraid to fail. It made me not be afraid. It made me challenge myself. It made me learn me to take risks. It learned me to go for it. I wasn't defined by a mistake, but am I growing? Am I learning? Am I trying to make it happen? Is that pretty powerful or what? So the first thing we're going to, hopefully, again, you guys have had no coaching on this, and I need help too. Again, 5 kids, I need help all the time. Is just give them a gift of failure. Let them learn to be resourceful. That they're not defined by it, but by having courage, by getting comfortable being uncomfortable. So that's the first one. Okay, what's the second one? Okay, after that. I was at a baseball game this spring. Again, youth like 7 age and younger. And Dad's like, yo, buddy, if you get 3 hits, we're getting ice cream. If you get 3 hits, we're getting ice cream. He got 3 hits, he got ice cream. But the next game, he had 0 hits. And he was like pissed because he didn't get ice cream. So it's like, are we consistent by what we are evaluating? Are we consistent with what we are evaluating? And I like to teach this system, focus on the root, not the fruit. A lot of performers get seduced by the fruit. Think of a tree. Tree? So the fruit is like stats, scores, numbers, people's opinions, rankings, all this stuff. That is out of our control, yes or no? What's in our control is our effort, our attitude, having a growth mindset, being a great teammate, putting in the work, trying our best. That's in our control. So it's being consistent with our praise and praising more effort, praising more, man, great job responding to that, you fell on your floor exercise, but you got back up and you had a great body language. Like, that's awesome. Instead of only praising if they have success. Is this making sense? So focus on the root, not the fruit. And here's a pop quiz. Who know who the highest paid professional athlete today is? It's a dude. Now having $4, I'm like, this is messed up, man. We gotta get the women paid. Come on. It's not Tom Brady. It's